I know that you released a video with, conviction being so powerful in sales
Yeah.
and, weighing so much more than actual skill. Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that?
So sales, there's lots of components to sales, but I'll try and simplify it. So fundamentally, sales is a transference of conviction. You have a cup full of
Mhm.
conviction of belief, and you need to put it into someone else's cup that's currently empty. The bridge
Mhm.
of transferring that conviction is trust. And
Mhm.
so that's why referrals from customers sell so easily because they already trust you. And so it's just like you just say what you're going to do, and they're like, okay, because they already heard from someone else. So they trust you. As long as it just makes
Yeah.
sense and it's just what they want, then they'll say yes, right? Cold
Uh-huh.
sales, they don't trust you. And so you have to build rapport and build trust so that you can transfer the conviction. But here's the thing, people trust people who they believe are genuinely trying to help them. And so that is where the
Mm.
conviction counts twice because you have to transfer the conviction, but you have to have the conviction so that the person believes you, right? Otherwise, you're just a sociopath and you're lying. Now, the
Yeah.
difficulty is, what do I do when I don't 100% believe in the thing that I'm selling? Well, first off, you should fix that. That's the obvious answer. But I'll give you a much more tactical answer that no one would normally say. What you have
Mhm.
to do is believe that you are the best chance that this person has at being successful. You're not going to say, I promise you're going to be successful because you can't control that. If I couldn't sign someone up at my gym and say, I promise you, now I can do everything in my power, but I can't control if you drink margaritas on the weekend and eat Snickers and don't show up at the gym. I can't do the push-ups for you. And so if you ever have anything where the other person has to do something or meet you halfway, then you have to be convicted about something else besides their outcome because you can't control it.
Mhm.
What can you control? You can control the experience that you know they're going to go through, and you can control the process and the product that you've created or the service or the client experience and know that this is the best chance that they have at success. And you can put your conviction 100% into that. And
Yeah.
when you sell from that perspective, it'll allow you to sell with conviction. Now, once you have the conviction and you transfer it with trust, right? There's two components to selling besides that. That's like the energy component of it, right? The
Okay.
other component is what you say and how you say it, right? The what you
Mhm.
say part is questions, right? It's a question-based framework because people do not change their mind based on statements. They change their mind based on questions because they need to come to the conclusion on their own so they can believe that the idea is their own, so they can own the decision and then ultimately take the step towards you, right?
Yes.
Sales is a lot like seduction, right? You can't just, otherwise it's just rape if you try and take their consent. Like they need to consent, right? So that it means that they have to
Mhm.
generate on their own. This is their idea. And the only way you can do that is through asking questions. Now,
Mhm.
how you ask the questions, the tone communicates more than what you say. So the perfect sales script sounds like someone who gives a shit about someone else. So if I were to say, "What's your goal? What are you trying to do? What have you done so far? How's that work for you? What do you think made you fail?" Okay, understood. I think this is what we can help you do. Does that sound reasonable to you? Okay, cool. Do you want to hear how that would work? XYZ explanation, and then the explanations are the only part where you ever actually say anything. The rest of the script is just asking questions to lead them to the natural conclusion they should work with you, right? The only things in the quote pitch are usually what I like saying they're short anecdotes. They're tiny little snippets because most people don't actually care about the thing, about
Mhm.
rather the vehicle of how they get there. They just care about going to Maui. They don't care whether they get a boat or a plane or a jet. They just want to get to Maui, right? And so we need to ask simple or give simple analogies to explain what's going to happen, right? So it's like, hey, if I'm selling SEO, then I would say like, hey, you've got paid ads, which is like, your paycheck, and SEO is kind of like an investment, right? And so we're going to be running ads in the short term, but we're going to be building this investment in the long term so that eventually you don't need to have this income from your paid ads, and it's just all going to be SEO that feeds the pipeline, right? Right. I'm
Mhm.
not going to say, hey, we're going to index 100 pages and we're going to cross reference you on all these keywords. So he's like, I, as the customer, don't care because what I care about is leads. Right.
Mhm.
So I just want to know that you know what you're doing. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where a common thing, there's something called flash rolling, which Oren Klaff talks about in one of his books, which I actually really like that. We use that in a lot of our sales processes. But it's like in that time period, we have short anecdotes, a couple flash rolls to demonstrate authority, and then you go right back. Makes sense. Sound good. Awesome. So that's the
Yeah.
what you say, right? But the thing is that's
Mhm.
only a very, very, very small percentage of why people buy. The
Yeah.
vast majority is the other 90%, which is how you say what you say. Because
Mhm.
how you communicate massively changes what you're saying. So I'll give this example. This is one I got from Jason Fladley that I like a lot. If
Mhm.
I were to say, so you have tone and emphasis, which are the two components of how you say what you say, right? So if my wife were calling me, so this is not from Jason, but like if my wife were calling me and she said, Alex, or she says, Alex, or Alex, those are all very different tonalities, right?
For
They have
sure.
different meanings, even though it's just my name, right? You can, one of
Mhm.
them is I'm playful and happy. One is, hey, what's going on? Third is like, are you there? Right? One is fear, one is joy, and one is anger, right? And so there's different tonalities, and all of those communicate different things. And so when some person reads the script, they're communicating something completely different than what they think they're communicating. The second component of saying how you say what you say is emphasis, right? Which is where am I pausing to make a point, right? And you can also lower and raise your voice. So, for example, like that's what I was saying with my wife. If I raise my voice at the end, it's a question. If I lower my voice, so what I'm saying right now is extremely important.
Mhm.
You're going to listen to it because I'm lowering my voice and I'm slowing down. It doesn't matter what I'm saying, right? If I'm spinning
Totally.
back up, you think that what I'm saying is really exciting, and oh my god, it's super cool, and there's so many things. This is where you do a flash roll, and this is where you explain you demonstrate your expertise. This is how you say
Yeah.
that because that tone has to be mirrored. So that's the tone. The emphasis is I didn't say he hit his wife. 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 Each of those has a completely different meaning.
Mhm.
And so when people get scripts and they have a question-based framework, they say things the wrong way. And so that is why two people can have the same script and say the same things and communicate something entirely differently. And that is what is up to a good sales manager to be able to correct someone's tone. And there's two ways you can do that. One is drilling, right? You can correct someone's tone by me practicing with you. And the other way that
Mhm.
we can practice that is by making sure that you believe. Because if you believe, your conviction will automatically correct your tone. And the
If you
thing is most
believe
people don't believe
you
what they
can,
say.
do you find that a lot?
90, I mean, yes. The vast majority, the best salespeople know how to have absolute conviction in what they sell.
And let me ask you this, like, what is the way you raise conviction with your team, or if you notice someone isn't selling from a actually convicted place?
So you need to remind them of the mission of the company, and then you reinforce those points with the success stories of the clients who are going through it and how the real impact. And to really drive it home, if it's somebody who's been on the team for a while, you say, hey, John, remember Josie from 6 months ago? Well, she just got off our diabetes medication, and it was because you decided to sell her and change her life. Right. So now he's
Yeah.
really convicted about the next phone call he has. And to prove the
Mhm.
point, when I had my chain of gyms, do you want to guess what the best day of sales was every month?
Like best day of the week
Best day of the month.
or the first day?
I'll tell you when. It was the last day when we do our weight loss challenges, when everyone would weigh out. And so everyone would just be like, I lost 30
Oh,
pounds, I lost 25 pounds, I lost 30, whatever, I lost 10 inches, whatever. And my
yeah.
sales guys would be there and they would just watch person after person after person after person. And on those days, we'd close near 100% every day, every time.
Wow.
And so I would try and book as many sales appointments as I could during the weigh out process because people were like, dude, of course it works. I mean, I just saw 10 people this morning weigh out. Like, if you're trying to lose weight, this is the place to be. Right.
Yeah.
And so it was just real seeing with their eyes conviction. And so the
Mhm.
idea is how can I recreate that in as many ways as possible with my sales team? And if you are a person who's selling, then you need to be most convicted about like the reason that founders typically sell way better than anyone else in their company, even if they're not as skilled in sales, is because they believe more.
They
That's why.
believe in it way more than yeah.
Right. When they're like, no one can sell like me, it's like, right, because no one believes like you.
That's powerful. That's really powerful, and you do that, and you increase the conviction by, the success stories, the mission of the company.
Right. And consistently communicating what we're doing for our customers. Hey, just so you know,
Mhm.
we've increased, we've added this to our client experience. Hey, this is what the first, 3 weeks of being a client of ours looks like. The thing is most of the sales guys don't know what's going on. There's different departments, depending on
Mhm.
what the company is, right? There's different departments, and like that has to be communicated on a regular basis from customer success and fulfillment back to the sales team, so they
Mhm.
understand.